Hi there, Michael Griffiths here, and welcome to this episode of the Business Connectors. I'm here today with Adam, the Houseman Halen, and I'll get to him very shortly. But great to have you again on this episode. Hope you're enjoying the Business Connectors so far as we connect you with real-life businesses that can share some great insights, some great tips, and offer great value to help you grow your business at the same time. So welcome, Adam.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here. I notice when you send out emails, you send out Adam Houseman Halen, buying houses quickly. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the Houseman.
Okay, a little about myself. I come from an interesting, diverse background. I've owned businesses as well as being an employee. But what I found a couple of years back was that I really had a passion for property. So, but it was actually my wife that sort of hit me with a wet fish across the face and said, "What are you doing with your life?" And I said, "Well, you know, I'm trying to create wealth to buy property." She goes, "Well, you're going about it the wrong way. Why don't you just get into property?" So I did. Found out quite a few different mentors in the business, in the industry. Did a lot of trial and error, and here I am as the houseman.
Fantastic. So people go, well, how are you a houseman? What does that actually mean? Tell us a little bit, I suppose, what the houseman is all about.
Well, it's an interesting thing. I might as well say, why houseman? I had quite a few people looking out for properties for me around the northern beaches and into Nelson Bay area. And it was a contractor, it's like a Sparky, who couldn't remember my phone number. So what he actually did was put houseman in his phone.
Nice.
Rang up one day and said, "Is that the houseman?" From there I coined it and stuck with it. It works well. So what does the houseman do? Houseman buys houses, and I buy and trade and collect houses for myself and for others.
Fantastic. So I know you don't tend to use banks. You certainly don't go through real estate agents. So how does someone buy a house without a real estate agent or without a bank?
When you're buying a house through a real estate agent, are you buying wholesale or are you buying retail?
No
I say you're buying retail because
Right.
it's a shop.
Okay.
It's a shop. It's just like buying something in the shop. So I do work with real estate agents. They're fantastic and they do a job for the right reasons. But I actually go directly to the vendor and the seller and organise a deal with them, because the real estate agent is the broker. The person selling is the person who has the needs.
Yep. Fantastic.
As for banks, well, inevitably we need to use banks in one way, shape or form. But if there was a way that you could buy a house without using a bank, is that something that would be of interest to you?
Great. Well, it certainly would be to me, because the banks won't lend us any more money to buy property, so we probably need to find a different way.
Well, you're in the same situation as many people might.
Yeah, great. So on the flip side though, you also help people where you actually already have properties from vendors.
Yes.
And people who, for whatever reason, can't get a deposit or they can't get a serviceability loan, you can actually help those people too to be able to get into a place sooner.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
That makes sense. I'm sure there's many people who are watching this right now who are in that position that today the bank says no. Does that mean that you're a criminal? Does it mean that you're a bank robber, etc.? No, it just means that today the bank says no. So is there a reason that you couldn't get in your house today, start paying it off a brick at a time, but just exit into the banking system, exit strategy a little bit further down the track?
Great.
I put processes and systems in place just for that. So I will buy and occupy that house, and then I'll be able to bring an incoming buyer to own their own home today.
Yep. Brilliant. Fantastic. That's, yeah, really smart. And from memory, and certainly probably not quite old enough to actually know that this took place, but from stories, it was certainly the way that I suppose places were bought and sold back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, where that's what we did. We said, "I'll buy your house," then we communicated and we worked out a deal, and the deal was done.
That was it. That was it. Pretty much that was it. People would approach a seller, say, "I like your house, I like your farm, I like your property,
Yep.
Shall we have a deal?" And the deal was done there.
Yeah, great. And then all of a sudden, there was a real estate industry.
There was a business created.
And there it came. So
people thought they could charge a fee for it, and they're doing so ever since.
Perfect, great. So what are some of the secrets for our listeners? Someone who might have one property and they're going, "Gee, I'd really love to be a 10 property person sometime down the track." What's a tip? What's a secret? What's an insight you could give them So they could go from having one to maybe having a couple to maybe eventually having whatever their goal amount is.
Well, that's certainly a big question. It really does depend on your individual circumstances. If you have cash in your property, the stock standard way, as property investors would say, is to use that equity to buy. Look, can you buy a house without a bank? Yes, you can. I suppose it's a very big question, Michael. It's something that would take a lot longer than this on a microphone and camera. But start off, look, you're starting off, even if you don't have one property, joint venture partners are fantastic. If you find someone that has the money and you have the time and the availability to go and find properties, it's fantastic. Don't go hunting for bargains. Bargains are created. They're not just found. Sure, you can come across them, but if you spend your time hunting for those bargains, inevitably you're going to come across a crap house.
Okay.
It really comes down to what you're going to do with that property, and when you're walking in that door, what is your exit strategy straight away? As soon as I'm in that front door, I see my shadow. Alright, that's pretty much the ideal way of buying houses. One at a time, two at a time. Leveraging. Leveraging is, it's a multitude of answers to that, but leverage upon what you know, who you know, and what sort of finances you can bring to the table.
Okay, great.
Does that make sense?
Let's go down that path then, because mainly business owners are watching us right now.
Yeah.
So they've got the pillar in business, and that's one way that they're creating financial security. They might have shares, and let's just say, for example, they're interested in creating that property pillar. Mm-hmm. Yet they've got no idea what to do. They don't really even have the time to do things, but they know that they might be able to partner up with someone. Talk about that, because you do a lot of joint venture partnering. You're always looking for people who might have some free cash or might have the serviceability but have got no idea how to buy, and there's ways that you can partner up with them so they can start getting on the property ladder at the same time.
Now, depending on what someone wants to achieve, are they looking for a buy and hold strategy? Are they looking for negatively gearing? I prefer not to do negatively geared properties. I don't like negatively geared. I think if you're going to go into property, you might as well earn money from it.
Okay.
So what we do is we go in and look for properties together. The joint venture partner provides the cash and I provide the know-how. I go and secure these properties, and then we tailor it together and package it all together to bring an incoming buyer. So our profit is made on the upfront, on the residual, which is the maintaining, and on the exit strategy, which is usually 12, 24 months later.
Okay, fantastic.
So the joint venture partner brings the money to the table, and I bring the know-how. So it's a 50-50 split on the profits at the end.
Yep, okay, great. So a great way, I suppose, in the end, someone has equity sitting around, someone has cash sitting around, not sure what to do with it, would like to be able to get into property, doesn't have the time to do it, well, there's a great solution for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Quick and easy.
Fantastic. You've also built your business very much on partnering up with various industries and various people. So let's go away from property now and go, business owners that's out there, what are some of your strategies and networking tips in terms of how you're growing your business with building referral partners?
Okay, well, Michael, prior to meeting you, I thought I had a very good success rate of networking and meeting people and doing things. But what I was doing is, in fact, pushing my product or service and expecting them to take it up based on how good I presented it, how well I presented it. What in turn, in fact, by doing something such as your courses, is by providing someone with something up front and finding more about you, inevitably something's going to come back from it. Now, if it doesn't, then I need to find other business partners that are. Ideally, in the networking or getting referrals from people, I need to speak with the decision makers, and I need to find out fast and furious whether or not you're the decision maker. If you're not, I'm wasting my time. So we need to get to the Papa Smurf, in other words.
Yep.
I think that's nutshell.
Yeah, okay, great. So rather than talking to hundreds of people, find who is the person who can make a decision and make sure we're talking to them.
And essentially, yes, finding out who those key decision makers are, and the relationship triangle can be created via that. Who do you know that knows someone? Now, if it's in particular to your industry, find out who would benefit the most from what you do. And if you have a discussion with that person about what you do and they don't see the synergies between each business, then you need to move on to someone else that does, because they're not the decision maker and they don't get any sort of value from what you do, monetarily or business career-wise.
Yep, fantastic, great. Thank you very much for joining us. And again, as I say with all episodes, Adam's another great person to connect to. Great networks, understands how to be able to help you in being able to reach people within his network. So jump on LinkedIn, find Adam Halen, connect with him, let him know that you've seen the Business Connector show with him, and he would love, I'm sure, to be able to expose you to his network, be able to help you in any way that you possibly can. And if you're a business owner that's thinking about, hey, maybe I've got to go down the property stream, I don't have time to do it myself, you're interested in a joint venture type of opportunity, have a chat to Adam and see if that's something which actually can work for you at the same time. Otherwise, it's been great being with you again for another episode of Business Connectors. Make sure you check out what we've got coming up in the coming weeks, and we look forward to being able to see you hopefully at one of those events, if not at the next episode of Business Connectors. Take care.
Thank you.